Hey everybody, Seth Chapman here with Living Large and Tiny Living, and today I was wanting to talk about kind of some of the steps that I took in building a tiny house, and I figured that the best way to do that would be to just watch the time lapse and then talk about that, and that way it's sort of a chronological order for you. Make it a little bit easier for me to talk about it and also for you to follow along. So I'm going to require some help from myself today. Now, not him, but myself on the time lapse. So, anyway, today I'm in a little bit of a new studio, aka my bedroom, because this was kind of where I needed to do it so that I could watch the time lapse as I talk about the time lapse. So, a little bit different studio setup. It's a little difficult to work with, but not bad. So, I'll cut to some of the pictures to show you what I'm working with today. Alright everyone, so now let's get straight into the video, and let's see here. Now I might break this up into 2 or 3 videos. I'm not sure, it depends on how long it all takes, but we'll get through at least a good portion of it today. Right. So here I'm just skinning the bottom of the trailer so that way no water will get up into the trailer, and then now I'm just putting in the styrofoam and then decking it, which that was just one layer of basically Home Depot styrofoam there, and that's a pretty decent amount for the flooring. There's not that much heat that's going to come up from the floor, but it might be nice if you could get maybe 2 layers in there or something, but really I was trying to get as much height as I possibly could out of the arrangement that I had, so that was what I did. But maybe you could come up with something different that gets you a little bit extra installation, but I didn't really worry about that too much. Then I went ahead and decked the flooring there, so that's going to be my subfloor material. Now, building the walls here was not too difficult. It was really just a process of figuring out where I wanted the door, and then working around that door, and then a little bit of thought went into also where I wanted the windows. But pretty simple. I went ahead and just started by framing them up every 24 inches, the studs, because I could go back in later. Since I didn't know exactly where I wanted the windows, I could go back to that later, put those in, and it wouldn't take too much effort to do that. Granted, it would be easier to go ahead and start from the beginning, but easy enough to do later, so that's what I went ahead and did. So another thing to mention here about the walls, I went ahead and built them all out of 2x4s or wood material. So 2x4s for the studs, 2x6s for the roof, but that's what I went with for my material there. The other option is to do metal studs, but the problem with that is, one, you have to come up with the plan beforehand so you know exactly where all the windows are going and all of that, because it would be a little too difficult to try and mess with that after the fact if you don't know what exactly you want to be doing with all of that. So the other thing with the metal studs is that they're a little lighter to put up, so you don't have to worry so much about having multiple people there to help you stand it up, and also going down the road does make it easier. Now you can go with a little lighter weight wood here, is what I did, lighter than the flooring or the roofing material, just because that's not as important on the sides. It's not really carrying any kind of weight like the roof or the flooring will. Plus you'll have some sort of a siding on there that can kind of help reinforce that some as well. And depending on what kind of roofing material you're going to put on, that doesn't necessarily reinforce it well enough. So the sheathing on the outside is pretty much fine with a lighter weight material and saving on weight. Now moving on here to the door, I went ahead and went with this inset door just so that eventually I can put a fold out porch on there, and that gives me an extra foot or so to work with to be able to put that door in, and whatever it is, so that way it'll fold up flush against the outside, and then any excess will be on the inside of the door. Now what I put in on the roof just then was called ice and water shield. A lot of times it's used up in the northern states where you're getting a lot of snow each winter, and you're having to worry about the ice that occurs when it melts and then freezes and then melts and freezes, because that can kind of work back up under your shingles or roofing and can really cause a terrible day for you when you realize that that's happened. So what the ice and water shield does is it just keeps the water out, keeps the ice out, and typically on houses they'll just put it towards the edges, put it in the valleys of the roof, anywhere that would be susceptible to the ice and water that could be getting up under the shingles or roofing material that you have. But I went ahead and put it all the way across my roof just for the sake of making sure that it's protected really well, because it's got a sticky side that just sticks down to the wood, so it's really simple to do. It's more expensive than just regular paper, but you know, it's not that much of roofing up there, so it doesn't really matter that much compared to a big giant house. So that's what I went ahead and did with the roof, and helps seal everything out if I put when I put the screws up there for the end panel. But that's about it for this video, so I'll catch you on the next video.